Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mangala Irene Mwalukanga. Today I'm looking at the consequences of bouncing a check. If you followed my previous video, I spoke about what it means to bounce a check, and today in the series I'm looking at the consequences of bouncing a check. The consequences of bouncing a check. So we begin. It is a criminal offense to willfully issue a check on an account which is insufficiently funded. When you look at my sentence, it has got two important concepts, which are criminal offense and insufficiently funded. Well, the first thing that you need to understand is the concept of insufficiently funded accounts. Insufficiently funded account simply means that you don't have enough money on your account to clear the check that you issued. Here's an example. Mr. Mpata issues a check of 10,000 kwacha and on an account which only has an available balance of 8,500. Already you can see that there's a difference in the amount, and this difference in the amount clearly stipulates that this check won't clear, because for this customer or for Ignatius to be able to receive this 10,000 from Mr. Mpata, it has to be in Mr. Mpata's account first before it can hit Ignatius's account. So at this point, we can clearly say that Mr. Mpata would have committed a criminal offense. I bet most of you didn't even know that it's a criminal offense, right? Well, yes, it is a criminal offense and you can go to jail for it. What do I mean you can go to jail for it? Well, here is more information for you. A person who willfully issues a check on an insufficiently funded account is liable upon conviction to imprisonment for a term of 2 years and or a fine equivalent to 18 million under the National Payment Systems Act. Well, the National Payment Systems Act has got those rules, and when you analyze this critically, you will realize that 2 years and 18 million simply means you're going to jail either ways, because the question is how many people can afford to pay an 18 million in order for them to escape a jail sentence. Here is Mr. Mpata issuing a check of 10,000 and already he's got less in his account by I don't know, something like a 1.5. He already can't afford a check of 10,000. Will he be able to pay the 18 million that is being asked to pay? Definitely not, meaning he's going to jail for 2 whole years just for bouncing a check. That is how serious this issue is. Other than going to jail or paying the 18 million kwacha, there are other additional measures that have been put in place in the Payment Act. So here it is. A fee of 840 is charged on any corporate business customer who bounces a check due to insufficient funds. So this might look so simple because you're a business and you have a lot of money, but the point is everyone is in business to make money and not lose money. These are some of the things that make business people end up losing money or making losses instead of the profits that they're in the business for, because they overlook these little things. 840 is practically close to 1,000 or 1,000 in itself. Imagine what can you do with this kind of money instead of donating it to Bank of Zambia. It's better you even use this money to buy toys for your children or others, like Mr. Mpata's situation. He's got an 8,500 already. He's owing. He doesn't have enough money to clear that check. Now imagine him having to pay the 10,000 and paying the 840 kwacha. Just imagine that. This is an 840 kwacha that someone would have used to buy mini meal cooking or for a whole month, including relish. And then you just waste it by being ignorant of certain things that you're supposed to pay attention to. So as somebody who owns a business and an account, make sure that you understand these things. And this is a platform that I've created for people to be able to understand without any difficulties. Okay, we move on from there. There are also individual customers other than corporate businesses. So here it is. A fee of 510 is charged on individual customers. So this is you. You are paying for insurance for your vehicle and you don't have enough money on your account already as it is. You post date your check, right? Unfortunately, on the day that it is post dated, your money doesn't even hit your account, meaning you're already going to pay 510. you're struggling to pay that insurance cover, and yet you need to pay 510. Let's be more careful. If you don't have money, don't go for certain things. No one has ever died from walking rather than driving. People have lived, and people are living without vehicles for a certain period of time. So one can still do this and avoid these things. It might not be a car, it might be other things, maybe clothes. You can avoid such things. You don't need to spend more. You don't need to waste money when you're taking your money to the bank. You need to earn out of the bank. Do not make losses by taking money. There's so many ventures that one can follow through in the banking sector for them to earn more money. People don't know that just by keeping your money in the bank is supposed to earn something, but not this situation where you have to lose it. It is not supposed to be like that. We continue. A customer who issues a check on an insufficiently funded account 3 times within a period of 12 consecutive months shall have their check facility withdrawn. This is terrible. I don't even want to use the word bad because it will sound a bit not so much terrible, but I'll use the word terrible. This means that it is going to hit on your reputation. If you don't have a facility like a check, some these days that we're in, people live or want to live in a cashless society. So you find that what they just want from you is not the actual cash, because of safety, of security measures they have in place. They would ask for a check. Now imagine you telling them that I don't have a checkbook. What kind of a business person are you? You're supposed to have a check, only to tell them that actually it was withdrawn because I was bouncing a number of checks. Do you think next time they'll consider you for another business venture? That is practically impossible. So to avoid all these things, one needs to make sure that they put into consideration the charges, the fees that are involved with bouncing of checks, and not just the bouncing of checks, but other details also, or other things that might make you lose money in the process as you transact. I'm just from talking about your reputation. Imagine that person you tell your check has been withdrawn. Others have the guts to visit a bank and say, this customer has been doing business with me, but they never pay me. They issue checks and yet I don't receive any money. What is the situation? And the bank probably would open up and say, of which it's not supposed to be the case, but they might open up to say this person does not have a check facility. Already that dents your reputation, a reputation that you've worked on for a number of years, only for you to come and lose it at this point. It is not supposed to be like that. One needs to make sure that they pay close attention to these details. Also, when you look at the consequences of bouncing a check, it's just centered on you losing money, also of your reputation. So let us at least have proper knowledge of these things. Like I always say, one who's knowledgeable is actually a person who is empowered. Then finally come to another point: closure of one's account. Honestly, with such kind of reputation, you wouldn't want to keep your account in that business, isn't it? Or other than that, you end up losing business partners because of this. So as a result, the last thing or the only option that you will have, other than changing those business partners, which will be difficult because it's already hard to establish relationships with people to do business with. So the only other option that you're going to have is closure of one's account, because you realize that whatever kind of facility you want to gain from the bank that you are banking with, they won't be able to give it to you because they know that you're not trustworthy, meaning you'll be struggling in your banking journey with that particular bank. So you end up closing your account. I think this is why I end my presentation. However, if one has got questions, they can just type them in the comment box just below, and I'll be able to see them and translate or probably convert them into presentations. Furthermore, a knowledgeable person is an empowered person. Always make sure that you get to expose yourself to information so that you can make better decisions for your business and just for yourself as an individual. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking subscribe on this red button written subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.